UFC 299, Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera, the rematch, the one we've all been waiting for since that first fight all those years ago. Today, we are here to do a preview on this insanely stacked UFC card. And because this card is ridiculously stacked, we are heading to the prelims first for Matthias Gamrot versus RDA, in what in itself is a very good fight and what could easily headline the Apex or a UFC fight night, if we're being honest. It is a very decent fight in the lightweight division. Matthias Gamrot, the up-and-comer, RDA, the experienced pro now, an absolute veteran of the game. Who do I think wins this one? If I'm being honest, I think Gamrot gets it. I think RDA in recent times, when the levels has been stepped up, he has fallen short. But I do think he'll make a good account of himself, and I don't expect him to retire or anything like that. I think he'll carry on going because he's an absolute soldier. But I think Matthias Gamrot, who is training with Dustin Poirier, who is also fighting further up this card, will get the victory. So I'm going for Gamrot in that bout. To top the prelims, we've got a heavyweight bout between Curtis Blaydes and Jailton Almeida. Curtis Blaydes, obviously, the man with a win over the interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall. We all know what happened in that fight. But the winner of this, I could easily see Tom Aspinall defending his interim belt versus the winner of this, especially if Curtis Blaydes wins. Curtis Blaydes 17-4 with the 1-0 contest. Jailton Almeida 20-2. Beautiful, beautiful fight here. But it's a very interesting one as well, because we've got two very good grapplers. We know Jailton Almeida's got very good grappling. We know Curtis Blaydes is a very good wrestler, but has fallen in love with his hands a little bit more. So I think if this one goes on the feet, and I think it will stay on the feet for large proportions of the fight, because, like I said, we've got two good grapplers here, and I think it'll be interesting to see what does happen on the feet. I think if it stays up, I think Curtis Blaydes has got the edge, because we really not see much of Almeida striking, because he just loves taking people down and absolutely smashing them on the floor. Obviously, coming off his win over Derek Lewis, dominating Derek Lewis. Who do I think is going to win, though? Curtis Blaydes, and Almeida. I'm going to go with Almeida. I think the run, the form is with Almeida. I think he is going to become victorious, and I think it sets up a very good fight versus Tom Aspinall. Obviously, the Blaydes rematch. For me personally, I'd love Blaydes to win and go on to rematch Tom Aspinall so he can set the record straight in that fight. But I believe Almeida will get his hand raised. And then I suppose we've got to move on to the main card, which is, again, absolutely unbelievable. The first card, or the first fight on the main card, is Peter Yan versus Song Yadong. Again, an unbelievable fight, something that could headline a UFC fight night, the Apex. Even probably that could be a co-main on a numbered pay-per-view on another card, that's for sure. But UFC 299 and UFC 300 are absolutely sensational. By the way, I forgot to mention at the start of the video, we are going to be doing a live stream for this event. We are going to be doing a live stream. For me, the early hours of Sunday morning. For the American viewers, you've got the, Saturday night. But for me, I'm getting up early to watch the show. Hopefully, we can start on with the main card, and then we'll finish off, obviously, with the main event. So we'll try and get as many fights in as possible, but we will be live. I'll be getting up early to make sure that we get all of these fights. However, we need a winner between Peter Yan and Song Yadong. Obviously, Peter Yan on a bit of a skid, losing to Sterling, O'Malley, and then Merab, and then Song Yadong with a little bit of form coming into this. And I've got to say, I think Song Yadong is going to win. I think Peter Yan, the skid continues, and Song Yadong becomes victorious, and he moves further up the bantamweight division and closer to that top 5. I think he'll probably be in top 5, actually, if he gets a win over Peter Yan. And yeah, I believe Song Yadong becomes victorious and moves on with his bantamweight journey. And that could be the end of Peter Yan in the UFC. Not that I think they'll get rid of him, but he could possibly retire if he loses to Song Yadong. However, we've got to move up again to the welterweight division. Gilbert Burns versus the undefeated Jack Della Maddalena. Gilbert Burns 22-6. JDM 16-2. JDM coming off some very good victories, undefeated in the UFC. And then Gilbert Burns, an absolute veteran, been there at the top, fought for belts, fallen short, but he is a very good competitor. I believe 37, 38 years of age. He is a very good competitor, to say the least. Who do I think wins it? We know Gilbert can put in a great performance against Hamza, who it was a very close fight. It could have gone his way, but then he can have performances against Bilal Muhammad, and not taking anything away from Bilal Muhammad, but it wasn't the best performance from Burns. JDM looked very good when he first came into the UFC, but his last two performances, two split decisions. Maybe the progression of opponents is starting to catch up on him, but it'd be an interesting fight. And you know what? I'm going to go with Gilbert Burns. I think this is going to be the first loss for Jack Della Maddalena in the UFC, and I believe Gilbert Burns becomes victorious. I really, really do. However, we're sticking with the welterweight division, and we have got a UFC debut. MVP Michael Venom Page is set to face Kevin Holland, who's 25-10 with one no contest. Michael Venom Page 21-2. It's going to be a very, very good fight while it lasts, because I do believe this one gets done within the distance. And I do believe, being a Brit myself, I've got to back the Brit, Michael Venom Page, to get the stoppage over Kevin Holland in round number 2. I think number 1, this could be a fight where basically nothing happens. They're just both kind of sizing each other up, kind of working their way around the options, and then bang! It's over. That is what Michael Venom Page does, and that is what Kevin Holland can do as well. We've seen it from both of them in their MMA careers, and I can't wait for this. I hope MVP gets the job done. Maybe fight someone like a Wonderboy again, similar to his style, and pass to victory. And then maybe we get a fight versus an all-British UFC title fight. That would be absolutely insane if we could get that, bring it home to the UK. Maybe do it in Villa Park, Leon Edwards versus Michael Venom Page. Oh, I'm dreaming, but I love to be a dreamer. Then we're going to move on to the co-main event, though. Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis. Dustin Poirier, obviously, he has been there, so close to getting the t-shirt, but he's been in 2 title fights and then 1 BMF fight as well. Going to be interesting to see how he reacts to his defeat against Justin Gaethje, obviously getting iced by Gaethje for the BMF belt, and Benoit Saint Denis coming off a highlight reel knockout over Matt Frevola. It's going to be very good while it lasts, similar to Kevin Holland and MVP. Actually, no, I do think this goes a distance because we've got 2 tough cookies in there. But I am going to go for fight of the night between Poirier and Saint Denis. And I'm going to go for the young buck. Benoit Saint Denis, the 28-year-old, is going to beat Dustin Poirier. And it's going to be a 2-fight skid for DP. And I feel bad for Dustin because he's been so good. And to be honest, I wouldn't be mad. And of course I wouldn't be mad. I kind of want Dustin to win. But I think Benoit Saint Denis is going to be victorious because he looks like a man on a mission. And that French backing that he has. Oh, imagine if he goes on to win the lightweight belt. And then we've got UFC France. A number card in France would be absolutely unbelievable. But for the co-main event for UFC 299, I am going for Benoit Saint Denis by decision. Then we've got to go to the main event. Why we're all here, the Sugar Show versus Marlon Chito Vera. It's going to be a very, very good fight. Sean O'Malley, 17-1, 1 no contest, and that 1 defeat coming to Marlon Chito Vera, who is 23 wins, 8 losses, and 1 draw. Marlon Vera has had a different run since that win over Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley obviously undefeated since that loss that he himself calls a non-loss, and it wasn't. He says he didn't lose and it wasn't a fight. He's a bit delusional, really, because if we're being honest, he did lose that fight. Why do I keep calling him Martin? Marlon Vera kicked his leg, and it did the nerve in, and he couldn't stand on it, and then he finished him with beautiful elbows, and it's a finish. He got finished. There's nothing. He can hold his leg after getting hit with 2 elbows if he wants, but he got finished. However, I do believe he gets the win in this fight. I believe Sugar Show has progressed quite dramatically, actually, since that fight, and Marlon Vera has been, I think he's 4 wins, 2 losses. He might even be 3 wins, 2 losses, but I think it's 4 wins and 2 losses since that win over Sugar Show. And obviously, like I said, Sean O'Malley undefeated since, and obviously fighting the likes of Peter Yan, getting wins over them, and knocking out the Aljamain Sterling, who has the most defenses at bantamweight in the UFC. So there's definitely a lot of progress there from Sean O'Malley, and I do believe he gets the win. Does he knock him out though? Because Chito Vera is one of the only people in the UFC with John Jones to have 20 plus fights and not be finished or knocked down. So we've got an absolute player here. We've got a tough cookie. However, it could become a bit interesting in those championship rounds because we watched the Peter Yan fight and we saw Sugar Show was a little bit tired. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye out, see how Sean's gas tank goes, because I don't think he'll get the finish. I think it'll be a full 5-rounder. And yeah, I think Sugar Sean gets the win. But it'll be very interesting to see if Chito can capitalise on potential lack of stamina from Sean O'Malley in rounds 4 and 5. It's going to be a very good watch. We are going to be live and we are going to be absolutely buzzing to watch all of these great fights in Miami. But that is going to be it from me today. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, we'll be live early hours of Sunday morning if you're in the UK. But be there or be square. But that is it from me, and I'll see you on the next one.